was just a very small amount of area visually, because I'm a visual guy. I got to see it visually, and it was very small. And that still bothers me.
In the existing pool. So in the existing pool,
right.
What you're calling usable space was
Well,
too small for what you're seeing.
for hanging out and playing ball, and
Then it's probably not going to be much different than the small area that you have here. I mean, I don't know what you mean by a small area.
oh, it was. Here's what let me kind of explain to you what I've been talking about. I've tried to talk about because I think it's important. We have this pool that is the diving well is blocked off. We have a significant area that's available for swimming, recreation, being in the pool, having time in the water to cool off.
Is it too little? Because Alan said it's too little.
What we have now is substantial.
But I was saying it's too little.
No. And it is too little. Because what happens is... You misunderstood what I said.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the pool where it starts with, when you first come in the building, and go backwards to 25 meters, take off the diving, that area is too small for our pool.
Too small just visually, or by the amount of people that are using it?
Both.
No. This was from the original presentation, so it's 25 yards as opposed to 25 meters. So meters would bring it down to here. And so we have a dive well that basically is here, that takes out a portion of that pool for swimming.
I got you.
And so we originally had...
That's not right. That's not right.
This is 6
You
foot.
stand at 6 foot
No,
water.
you can swim in
You
it.
can. You can swim in it. But most people are standing in the swimming section.
Yeah, about 5 foot lines right here.
Right.
Okay, so this is also the 6 foot line. So the 6 foot line would come back to here. That's substantially smaller. Very
For
much so.
outside.
For outside.
Agree.
So, and I'm just saying we need to understand that if that's what we want to do.
Does anybody not understand that?
I don't think that
we all understand
I think we
that.
all understand it. You're also looking at a pie-shaped piece that's not represented there, correct?
That's correct.
No, am I correct?
Yeah, in the
Okay.
original one, this
So
was,
it's right there,
Yeah.
and we're still looking at the same amount of water as what we have in our pool right now. So where are you losing?
in the original presentation that has zero cost, we had a pie-shaped, zero depth. It's
Zero
not a
depth.
hangout place. You aren't going to be able to swim in it. And this now has a cost associated
It
with it to
does.
get to this.
Exactly.
So maybe that's where we go, but I'm just saying.
But that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Right, that's why
In
we're
fact, they put this together based on the things that we said
Right.
we would like.
I think
And we're here, and they're here to present it. We all understand the issues. The other thing we don't understand, and we haven't talked about, is if we decided to go to number 1 or number 2, we need to give these people direction so they can make this happen. We also need to find out if that's something we can feasibly afford, or where that money, where sources of that money might come from.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
if you were to take this $1.2 million and you were not to put in the terraces, what would the cost be?
well, so we can't give you those like budget manipulations on the fly, but I think there's some, we built this out based on everything that you asked for the last time around. So if you come back and you say, really what we want is for the terraces to go back to a hill, we want the pie shape to get a little smaller, we have some opportunities to move some things around, but it's really important for us to understand today, what are the outdoor amenities that you want, and if the budget is changing, that's important for us to know, and if the time frame is changing, as in you're okay if you don't hit the summer 2020 pool season, we need to understand that as well, because we're coming up against the planning and zoning commission deadline that we have to meet to get started in 2018.
We can live in one, but we don't even need to have a pool. Right? I mean, but that's not what we want.
Yeah.
Well, we plan on talking about finances soon.
I
mean,
thought you
well,
said.
I don't have 1.6 million to,
Oh, yeah.
2 million.
Okay.
I thought you said
now, it's
something
not part
about
of the 30
minimum
million, so.
If we can figure out what we want to do and where we want to go, we can
Okay, so-
have that conversation Monday at the council meeting.
My thought is, in that 1.6 million, are we gonna have to lose something else in the rest of this building?
We do not
To
have,
me, there's the next thing we better start thinking about.
That's up to
okay?
council.
I mean, as it's proposed.
as it stands today, we do not have money available in the $30 million to do any of these options. We would need
we all understand that, and I think his question, and the answer is probably no. If either one or two, is there any amenity change in the community center itself or in the indoor pool section?
No.
So, one or two will include the increase of the budget, either 1.2 or 1.6.
Yes, strictly for outdoors.
Okay, so wait a minute, I
Strictly for
misunderstood
changes on
that.
the outdoors.
So the one, if we decide to go with option 2, it's not gonna change anything else in the
Unless
community
you
center,
tell
indoor
us.
pool, nothing,
Yeah.
right? You just gotta come up with 1.6.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So actually, it's more than that, is what you're telling us.
No, not for construction, 1.6.
This is
Building
just-
it, it's 1.6.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it'll
they're
change the
running.
operation.
The pro forma, yeah, I mean, we won't run another pro forma, we'll just, that's what we have. And if we change some of the things that were part of the business plan, the business plan's less accurate. We won't run another business plan, we'll just open the facility and go, well, hey, how come we don't have cost recovery of this or this or this? I mean, it probably won't, it's not going to bankrupt the city, but it's not a reliable document.
But it's not-
We've changed some of the calculations that were put into it.
If we're spending $5 million on something in the street or lights or whatever, we got to take that into consideration. We've already spent that kind of money on something else. We ought to be looking at it as something that we can offer the constituents. We fix their streets, we fix their sidewalks, etc. Now we can fix the pool to meet what they want. Right?
I don't, well,
Who's they?
yeah, I don't know if they can. In some cases, this isn't what they want either. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that they'll step.
Sam doesn't want this building at all. So, I mean, we asked him what he wants. I mean, he ran a whole campaign against it. So, I mean,
According to the survey, we want a community center. We want, the amenities to go in it.
sure.
The pool, the outside is exactly that. So that's what I'm talking about.
But it didn't say exactly. I mean, that's where that's how we're in this conversation right now. Is that
But it's just
we're down where we have to have a conversation of what do we think the right answer is.
What's the useful life of the aquatic center?
An outdoor pool shelf life is between 30 and 40 years. Now, there are some in the area that have extended it to 50. And then you get the Mission Aquatic Center before it was redone. Pretty close, our original basin was built in 1985, and you can see where we're at today with it. So winters are not fun on aquatic centers outdoors in Kansas.
So at least 30 years.
At least 30.
Did you ask about just the aquatics or the whole facility?
Yes, just the aquatic centers.
My concern still, that even all the 3 options, the additional options you proposed here, it does not include some of the things that we said or the people said they wanted when they were doing the survey of like outdoor slides. This is for the outdoor portion we're talking about. Outdoor slides, lazy river, zero depth, which we have, flat plains, which we have. But some of the things that they've said we wanted, even with our revised options, we haven't included them.
Well, we'd have
Should
to
we
give-
duplicate that?
We'd have to give up.
Well, yeah, I think we told them that that's what they said, and that's what we said. These are the kind of things when we sold the bond issue, you might, we're proposing that you would have these
Proposed, we
things.
might. I mean, that's what we said. We never said exactly.
Yeah, I know, but when I voted on it, that's what I was thinking.
Because we didn't know what it was going to cost.
I think in all fairness, nobody went to specificity of saying, we promise you outdoor slides.
Yeah.
We just said we promise you slides, there's a slide. Lazy River, we got one, it's just not outside, okay? And in that first questionnaire, as it was pointed out, that was not even a questionnaire that was going to include an indoor component, because we didn't even know at that time there was going to be an indoor component. So that's not valid. Yeah, people want to have a lazy river. Well, we've established that now. In this plan, it happens to be inside. Now, you want to move that outside? What are you going to give up? And we can't build this for $30 million with the movement of just the lazy river inside.
Can we move the lazy river outside? I mean, you lose it on the inside.
Well, not without displacing something else outside.
Sure, agree. But if you did away with
The zero depth.
the zero depth and made
And
a,
I'll be honest with you, I don't want it outside. Because I want to be able to use the lazy river in
I see
January.
more value personally inside.
And I want to be able to use it year round.
we did too, that's why we put it inside.
That's why I concur. But what about the slide? I mean,
Hopefully,
Get the
slide outside.
The other thought is that, okay, so you're in the pool in December, and you look outside, you see a $400,000 slide outside that you can't use because it's outside. Now, we've talked about a drop slide, we've talked about other amenities, which we haven't outlined, but I was looking at it when we were talking about where do we put these amenities, I'm going to speak from my perspective, as a mom and as a taxpayer. Not of Miriam, but as a taxpayer in general. If I'm inside a building in 9 months out of the year, and I can't use an amenity that costs $400,000 because it's only on a 2.5-month operation, was that financially responsible? Was that a good decision? So fiscally responsible me says, I want the biggest bang for my buck 12 months out of the year, which is an indoor operation. Now, does that mean we can't still have another alternative to a smaller type slide outdoors? Yes. But there are trade-offs both sides of this coin, and it's hard to make everyone happy, but can we at least provide the amenity for the biggest bang for the buck? And that's why the slide was indoors. Now, we can move it outdoors, but then what do you...
in both places.
If we have an extra $1 million.
But then you give up all your deck space.
Yeah, and there's no deck space.
What if you flip that and use the hill to help the slide based out of the slope?
I mean, so it's an option. It's still an extra. Slide that costs money. It's still a slide that costs money.
I understand all that.
And it would impact deck space on the outside. I mean, so we understand these are really hard decisions to make. I mean, we sit in the room too and say we want all of these really cool things, and then that's their job to come back in and tell us. She said we want a $30 million community center delivered in mid-2020, and here are the trade-offs you have to make. And you want this number of square foot of art gallery. You want an event space that holds 250 people, and you want a track and a gym. Like, here are all these levers that we've had to make choices on, and we understand that the outdoor pool space is really important, and we try to consider that in the scope of every other program that we need to operate out of this facility.
Has anyone surveyed the patrons of the current Merriam Aquatic Center, specifically, which include people who are not Merriam residents, but they are patrons?
They have the option on the website.
Well, and I mean, we've been using the master plan as our guiding document for this, and so.
And part of that was being at the pool, talking to pool patrons. Part of the sales tax initiative was being at the pool, talking to pool patrons.
And so the
Which
programming
I've done this
agenda.
past week, and I've talked to a number of them, and I have been told by every single one, based on what they saw from the Monday night presentation, they would no longer be coming to Merriam for the outdoor, they would go somewhere else.
I get that, but here's the difference, and please, all due respect, but I get told by people that they're not going to use our sidewalks we install.
Well,
Because it's not what they're used to, and it's not, I'm not going to change my behavior, and then they're out there on the sidewalk.
No,
I'm not comparing this to a sidewalk, but if you go to the pool and stand over the lap lane and ask lap swimmers, do you want a lap pool? Yeah, they want a lap pool. Of course they do.
I think what would be helpful for us to understand is what, based on everything that you've heard, what is the solution? What are you proposing that we change in this based on the constraints that we've discussed?
Well, I think there needs to be more recreation space. A 25-meter pool is fine. I would have a separate diving well,
Okay.
and I think that would do a lot.
Okay.
I would consider some other things. I'm happy to give you some input. You said that we've had a chance to have input. You've listened to our wishes, and you come up with these things. But the process, to me, what I have seen of it, is that the advisory committee first saw this a couple hours. I sat in at the meeting, and they asked questions, and there was a very strong push. We can't do that. We can't do that. It costs too much. We don't have the money. We're going to have to basically do away with what's indoor if we add some of these features to the outdoor. I think this process has gone too quickly, and there's not been enough input. You cannot make a decision about something as major as this with the community and with the council without having some time. I don't know when these models were first out there, but they should have been distributed in an earlier form so that people could, and we could work all this out. Yes, we're up on a time crunch right now, but if we make a mistake, we can't fix it. So how much money have we spent on design so far?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to pull, I don't
We have to pull it up. I mean, so any,
Several $100,000. Okay,
yeah.
that's a lot less than the incremental cost we're playing with here.
Well, and I think, what we said starting this conversation is we've been operating within a constraint of a timeline and a budget. And if the council wants to give us direction to change the constraint of the timeline or the budget, that does change the conversation. But we've brought you back options all along that fit within the original parameters and directive that you gave to us. And I understand that we're moving quickly, but truly, we have a deadline we have to hit. We're trying to get as much input as we can to hit that deadline.
But to address
Yeah.
David's point, we brought that at the last meeting and we had it for 12 hours. I mean, that's because we wanted to get it in front of the council. That's why it wasn't circulated in a packet. It was brand new information, but we felt that it was critical to get it out as soon as we could because we knew there was concern about what was happening. So that's why it did not circulate. I mean, that's the reason we made sure that all this got out as late as we could on Friday at 6:30, because it was important that it get out. We know council likes to see it and digest it. The public likes to see it. That first blush was literally hot off the presses information.
Well, I understand that you're dotting every I and T or crossing every T, but there had to be some rough idea of kind of the layout and configuration at some point in the past. This is probably a build,
But where's the feedback? We don't come back to council with every single decision that we make. We come back when we have something to chew on.
It's the process.
Okay,
Process.
who all has seen this? When did any of these other groups see this?
They saw it on Monday night. So
And you were there.
And you
Right.
were there. And so part of the reason that we accelerated this part of the conversation, we were operating off the list that was contained in the master plan. We thought we had a pretty good understanding of the programming requirements set forth in the master plan. Once we showed the site plan, which was step one of this process, where does the product go? What does the space look like on the actual site? Then we started thinking about what goes where in the aquatic area. So that hasn't actually been very long. I mean, the first day, the day we had that public meeting was the first day our aquatics consultant was in town. So we're moving fast too. But what we started to hear after that meeting was maybe what we are assuming are the programming directives is incorrect. For example, if it's a 15-meter 8-lane pool, that's not something that we had considered as part of our design, which is why we needed to get these groups back together last Monday and start saying, are we totally off base on what we heard in the master plan?
What is
to move
right
forward
sizing?
with?
We've been talking about
Yeah.
right sizing.
I'd like to have a conversation about that because I've done a lot of work over the last 2 weeks, and I do think that some of the Bader load is a bogus number to use. I do think we need to get that absolutely right. What is the right sizing, and if we have this size or this size, what is going to happen to the people who come to Merriam and use the outdoor summer facility?
Better go inside.
We need to have that
And
conversation.
David, I understand you've done a lot of work. A lot of people have done work for years now. So please understand, a lot of us have been through this process and heard a lot of these discussions. I understand you didn't invent it.
No.
It is not yours.
No.
So, but please understand that we all are invested. We are not trying to scam anybody. We're all invested in the process.
Well,
And mindful of dollars, and becoming more and more mindful of time, because we promised citizens of Marion, 2020, a new community center, indoor, outdoor aquatic center. We promised that. And dollars are critical.
Here would be a question. Do we want a 50-meter pool? I mean, we might be able to start narrowing it
No, I
down.
don't.
Do we need a 50-meter pool?
No.
Okay. Do we need 8 lanes versus 6 lanes?
Yes.
Okay, so an 8-lane pool would be,
I don't know, but
Eight
I'm
total?
convinced.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm convinced.
I'm not even sure
I heard
about that.
suggestions.
8 versus 6.
I think
But I think more space.
We need more space.
More space.
And that gets,
Take would, it's the
What dive
station.
well taking out is
It's
25.
water, it's not the swim team. I
So
love
we
that.
can, so if we have a swim team, if we need more water,
Take
then
it
8
away
lane
from
makes
the
more sense than 6
area.
lane. Because it's dual purpose. We
Then-
talked about dual purpose is water.
Okay.
If you have 8 lane versus 6, and then I'm gonna look for somebody over here to get the gap reflex, we can't do it. So it seems to me like a 25 by 8 is, at least from the body of water, the right answer. So what I'm also hearing that we need to put into our calculations is more water on the outside is what the comfort level is. There's
Well,
a,
everything that,
At what cost?
well,
That's what we need to find out.
we can't give you that until we know that we need to go get you more water.
I would like to see an option with, if possible, with a dive well that's separate so that the whole 25 meters pool is available.
And I think I would agree with that. Is there room to put an area for the dive boards could be isolated? Because
If it was isolated, I think we might be able to go 6. I don't
Well,
know.
I think
and if that's the case too.
A would be better, but with a separate dive well.
Do a separate dive well, less deck.
Again, I think that's a legitimate,
Separate dive well eliminates.
I think that's a legitimate look at is what would a dive well, how's that gonna increase to 1.2 or 1.6, okay? A little more landscaping, obviously there's gonna be a couple more walls, so attach some numbers to the dive well.
But in addition to everything you have here,
I don't think you can change what's there. We can't go back to what we saw Monday night. That
Sure
wasn't.
there's-
No,
but
I
I'm
mean,
saying
like, you still
one-
want the zero depth and all that other stuff in addition to.
Because you're talking about some amenities within that, when you say amenities, spray things, things for little kids to do.
Correct.
No slides or anything like that. So as they enter that, there will be things for little kids to do in the very shallow water. Am I correct? If I'm not correct, please let me know.
I'm not convinced that this is the right orientation because of what we said about people walking out. I think that,
So we've thought about that one.
okay, I think the option one seemed a lot
But
better.
if you're gonna be a swim parent, where do you wanna sit and watch your kids swim? You wanna look over all those
I
amenities
can't
and
hear
stuff
it.
to see the
Okay,
pool?
I can't hear it.
So we've got 2 doors, one here and one here, and I was concerned about runners.
Right.
Although what kids do.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a chance that we could install a sidewall so that you're having to at least direct them, north and south.
So what would be the benefit of this orientation versus the other one?
The biggest thing is it fits better. You can see, we just get closer, this gets a lot
Close to
tighter.
the wall.
It gets hot. And remember, again, if you're coming out this door, and then this is not 0 depth, this is right here.
Okay.
We can. That's where we were.
Yeah.
That's where we were, but then the thought was that we needed to have more queuing space in the back.
could that be where you see if we put a diving well up there?
I think we could look at a diving well both north or south in either solution.
Would a diving well be one dive board or two?
Probably 2 is what I think we're hearing is what's needed and what's sort of in the.
And then I guess we need to all recognize though, that's gonna reduce deck space.
It's gonna have an impact.
Is that a separate
Or
project?
we're having to encroach further to the south.
I agree with the south.
Separate
Then the 25-meter pool is just 3'6" the whole way, or 4 foot, or whatever the standard is. So it's no longer deep. The whole pool now becomes one standard.
Separate diving wells to separate body of water, so you're gonna have a total separate water system and your filtration and your heater.
So
And
now you just impacted the inside of the building.
so, I mean, we'll run the numbers and bring it back, but
You
it's,
can't just extend it, it has to be separate, doesn't it? You have to extend it square on the end.
On the dive well side.
Yeah.
Extend it on the
I
side.
think-
that's why I was asking.
Room for that.
I think potentially, I don't know, and I don't know if there's a way that we could have, basically, have the dive well here, have it all continuous in one body. I think there's ways to look at it, but it'll be challenging to fit in what we have available.
If you change the orientation of the 0 depth from an arc to more of a parallel, you actually had rectangular, and you actually had some depth, you could you possibly look at somehow having a contiguous dive well on the shallow, maybe not.
Potentially, I think we can look at it, but I think the whole idea.
Yeah, that's better.
This one actually is more problematic, but I think that if you're coming out that door, you're already in 4 feet of water as a. Right. We're at next to those doors.
my opinion.
That's gonna, it would be very helpful if we could leave here tonight with a direction on how you want us to do that, because that will.
To me, it's gonna be easier to get the die well in with 6 lanes rather than 8, because you got more surface area.
Why don't you do this? Let's bring us an option that gives us a diving well with 6 lanes, a diving well with 8.
I like that.
Okay.
And how much?
In this orientation.
In that.
So you prefer this orientation?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I don't like
You
this.
sold me.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we can move it around and preferably, I would want the diving well to be taking some water, but being the same, if at all possible.
Real quick, with my thought, if we do put a dive well in, it could not be at the end of that lap pool, because that's where you have to start when you're swimming. So there has to be a wall, correct? So it would have